Try that.
Try that. I've been a peer support worker in Nottingham for the past 2 years, and I'm going to tell you a bit about what I've learnt from it. But first, I just want you to imagine something with me. Imagine for a moment that you've woken up and found yourself all alone in the middle of a desert. You don't make much of it because it's just the way things are. Maybe it's the way things have always been. You just didn't notice before. There's a light breeze blowing around you, and it feels as if a storm is about to break. The breeze is beginning to pick up dust and move it across the desert floor. In fact, the breeze is becoming more of a wind. It's pulling at your clothes and wrapping your hair around your face. The wind is getting strange now, forcing itself in spirals around you, tugging at your clothes. Maybe you're beginning to panic, but what can you do? The howling is driving its way into your ears, and it's all you can hear. There's endless noise pushing right into the centre of you, knocking on the door of your panic and making it worse. The dust is blowing in coils around you, scratching at your face and forcing your eyes closed. What should you do? Maybe if you asked for help, it would go away. I'm not so sure. The wind is so loud, I don't think anybody could hear you anyway. You pull your eyes open, and what you see takes your breath away. All this time you've been sat at the breakfast table. The wind is still enveloping you, but nobody else has changed. You're cold with fear, and you begin to wonder where on earth you'll find the strength to eat your cornflakes when this hurricane won't let up. Where do you find the words to explain that to a GP? Where do you find the strength to explain it again and again as you go through services? Where do you find the resolve to smile and accept that maybe no one will ever get this? If, as a peer support worker, I can take away those feelings just for a second, it's a second I will celebrate. Having someone that gets you makes recovery so much easier to reach. That's why I became a peer support worker. And that's why I felt a wave of warmth run through me when I read the job description, because it just makes sense. And from 2 years ago, when I turned up to the job interview with the hurricane in my head, I've learned so much. We've worked in community teams and have come together to form a team of our own at Highbury Hospital now in Nottingham. Having learnt the lessons of a year in the community, we've moved on to wards. Now we get to know people on the wards and follow them through discharge as they continue their recovery and find a place for themselves in their community. Going on the wards has meant facing a lot of demons for our team, and it hasn't always been easy. On the wards, people are living in their extremes, and I'm never sure if what I'm doing is right. I can't stand up with lots of confidence and tell you the rules of peer support. The rules have changed and the goalposts keep moving, and I can't tell you with any certainty that I know where they are. I can only tell you the truth. So here are 4 things that I know to be true. This is the first truth. Starting as a peer support worker is like starting at a new school. We had to make connections, sell ourselves and our service, and prove that we knew what we were doing. And just like starting a new school, it's really scary. The thought of putting on a smile and opening up every day can be a bit daunting. Making friends with staff is like getting to know teachers and hoping you won't get caught misbehaving, but not really knowing what misbehaving is. There was a moment, I think, back at the start when, as a team, we could have faked it. We could have invented this role of peer support worker, of saying I've been there without really meaning it, just to protect ourselves. It would have been so much easier than making ourselves vulnerable and opening up our recovery to honest criticism. I think we dodged that bullet. My saving grace has been working with my amazing team of peers and having some well-timed supervision. Sharing the fear has made it more manageable, more human and less irrational. It still comes every time there are new faces on the ward. I feel a little wave of it hit me, but it doesn't knock me down because my team are there to catch me. We have learnt so much about boundaries over the 2 years, some through training and some the hard way by getting it wrong. By oversharing and dealing with a feeling like your soul's been bruised. I'm slowly learning to draw a line inside my story that I will never cross. This is one of the most important things I've learnt. Some things are sacred, and no matter how right it might feel in the moment, I have a responsibility to hold them within me. Most of the time there's no need to worry. The focus of our connections is never on us. When we first meet people, we just introduce ourselves and get to know them. Because we meet the person before their CPN, our referral system is unusual. The process is slower and more personal. There's nothing that can make me sit with somebody who has just been admitted and work through a form with them. When they're comfortable and ready, that's when we can begin talking about recovery. Everybody's different. Sometimes it can take days and sometimes it can take minutes. There are ways of making the process smoother. Sharing hobbies on the wards helps open up conversations. I love walking onto Rowan Ward when B has got everybody knitting, or when Tess is flicking through an EastEnders magazine. But more important than sharing hobbies is sharing ourselves and being open about who we are and what our team can do. When people find out what a peer support worker is, their reactions range from sublime to hilarious. Most of the time it opens up conversation and levels the playing field between us. More than once I've been told that peer support workers have provided the first human connection they found on a ward, and it's not because we're the only humans. The other staff aren't monsters, they just have so little time. When we're with people, we have time to sit with them without an agenda and hear what they're saying. Here's the second truth. It gets easier. Just like the best recovery stories, our peer story has its share of successes in the face of adversity. Our team has grown a lot and our environment has changed, but some things about peer support will always be the same. What we do still depends on whatever a person sees as important in their recovery. Anything that makes a person feel like they're a step further forward in the direction they've chosen to go. They might be immediate goals like getting through a review or making sure somebody's choices are heard, or longer term like focusing on discharge and facing up to everything that comes with it. It helps to make advanced directives and wellness plans, but reassurance that they can do this and they're not alone is just as important. Because a golden rule of peer support is to never take control away from that person, it's a relief to remind myself that I don't have to be the expert in anybody else's life. We still channel Manuel, and our mantra has always been, we know nothing. All I know is where I've been, and that doesn't mean I know what a person is going through or how to fix their problems. All it means is that I have some idea of where they are and I can talk with them about recovery. A silver lining of lived experience is that I can come close to understanding the fears they're trying to put into words, because I still have to face up to them myself. And as it's always been, a bad day is still difficult to accept, especially because it means putting your own recovery before going on the wards, which leaves you feeling like you're letting people down. I try and think of difficult days as mandatory training. It reminds me that recovery has no end point and connects me with where I am and why I'm here. When I come home and all I have is the brick wall of my own recovery to look at, knowing that there are such beautiful people fighting their way past similar things warms me up from the inside. Here's the third truth. It's a guilty one. I don't know whether admitting to it is admitting to a horrific lack of boundaries, but I truly love the people I meet on the wards. In each person is so much beauty and talent, it takes my breath away. When people share with me the things that have brought them to their knees and brought them to the ward, I feel completely honoured. There's a bond of trust that I feel for them that ties me in knots. Hearing something from a person's mouth, hearing their truth, is completely different to reading their notes. When a person feels ready to open up of their own volition, it feels so much more magical than noting down answers in an assessment. I've never spent a whole meeting with somebody talking about their symptoms, their medication, or their mental health history. Over the course of this year, it's only by chance that I ever find out a person's diagnosis. There is always something more interesting to learn. Everybody that I've met has had something they can talk about until they forget for a moment any other roles they might have had. These are the strengths that we try and focus on because they can be solutions in themselves. And not only that, it works in my advantage too. I pick up quite a lot of excellent DIY tips and essay advice on the wards. When someone opens up, this is the moment when my confidence comes back and I know that they can come through this, and if they would like, we will be there. This love is why we take it home with us. I think some days it's impossible not to. I've taken things home with me for loads of reasons. Maybe someone's dug up some old memories or touched a nerve. Maybe I'm not sure if what I say is helpful. I feel such love for the people that I work with that all I can do is hold hope for them, remind myself that their recovery is down to them. When I can't switch off, we focus on the hilarious side of recovery. When you're sharing an experience with someone, it can quite often become clear that recovery is comical. I remember sharing complaints about the side effects of medication that makes you a bit hallucinating and shaky, and we began to enact a scenario of attending a civilised tea party when you're dealing with the shakes. Before we knew it, medication was hilarious. Humour is a massive icebreaker. Laughing helps people to see you don't take yourself too seriously, and it makes things less scary. Here's my last truth. I think this job might have saved my life. If 3 years ago somebody had said to me that I would be standing here telling lots of lovely, important people about recovery, I would have wondered which one of us held the irrational beliefs. I would have told you, I don't know about recovery, I don't want to talk to anybody, and I will never, under any circumstances, do public speaking. This job has forced me to focus on my own recovery and has given me a reason for fighting. I tell myself there is no way I will end up as a cautionary tale at the end of all this. I've noticed the parts of me that I thought might be lost are slowly coming back. Not every day, but some days, I sing loudly in the shower. Some days I giggle at inappropriately shaped vegetables in the supermarket. And some days next Christmas doesn't feel like it will kill me. And I'm so grateful for every single second. I'm grateful for the horrible memories that have made me who I am. And I'm grateful for the days I spend with my team that make it all worthwhile. I can't lie, peer support has been hard, but we wouldn't have it any other way, and I wouldn't change a second.